Episode 2, The King's Silent Sorrow. Welcome back. When we left the story, Devavrata had returned to Hastinapura after completing an extraordinary education under great teachers. His father, King Shantanu, welcomed him with immense pride. The years that followed under Devavrata's supervision were years of prosperity for the Kuru kingdom. Recognizing his son's wisdom, courage, and maturity, Shantanu formally declared Devavrata the Yuvaraja, the crown prince of Hastinapura. The choice delighted the kingdom. The young prince possessed every quality expected of a future ruler. He had mastered the scriptures as thoroughly as the science of warfare. He understood administration, diplomacy, military strategy, and the duties of kingship. He treated his subjects with kindness. The education he had received from sage Vasishta, Brihaspati, Shukracharya, and the mighty Parshurama was now reflected in every decision he made. Under Devavrata's leadership, the Kuru armies strengthened the kingdom's influence across neighboring regions, and Hastinapura became one of the foremost powers in Aryavarta. For King Shantanu, there seemed little more to desire. His kingdom was prosperous, his people content, and his beloved son stood ready to inherit the throne. But life has a curious way of testing us precisely when everything appears complete. One day, while hunting along the banks of the Yamuna, King Shantanu noticed a young woman ferrying travelers across the river. She was graceful, composed, and remarkably self-assured. Though she belonged to the family of a fisherman, there was a quiet dignity about her that immediately caught the king's attention. Her name was Satyavati. In her younger days, she had been known as Matsya Gandhi, the one who smelled of fish, because she had been raised in a fisherman's household and carried the scent of the river. The king found himself deeply drawn to her. It was not a passing admiration. He wished to marry her. He approached her father, the chief of the fishing community, and asked for Satyavati's hand in marriage. The fisherman received the king with great respect, yet instead of immediately accepting the proposal, he placed a condition before him. If my daughter becomes queen, the son born to her must inherit the throne of Hastinapura. It was not a demand born of arrogance. Every father wishes security and honor for his daughter and her children. He feared that if Devavrata remained crown prince, Satyavati's sons would forever stand behind him in the line of succession. For Shantanu, however, it was impossible. Devavrata had already been declared crown prince. More importantly, he had earned that honor through merit and character. Shantanu could not betray the son who had never failed him. With great sadness, the king declined the condition and returned to Hastinapura. The cheerful king gradually became withdrawn. He continued to attend the affairs of state. He fulfilled every royal duty, but the joy had left him. Those around him noticed the change, but none dared ask the reason. None, except Devavrata. He sensed that this sorrow ran far deeper than ordinary anxiety. One day, determined to discover the truth, he approached the royal charioteer. Respectfully, he asked, "What burdens my father? Why has happiness deserted him?" The loyal charioteer hesitated, but realizing that the prince sought only his father's welfare, he narrated everything: the meeting by the river, the proposal, and the condition laid down by the fisher chief. Devavrata listened without interruption. Then he made his decision. If his father's happiness depended upon removing this obstacle, He himself would remove it. Without informing the king, Devavrata set out for the fisherman's settlement.
You mentioned Satyavati. Satyavati, is she the same Satyavati who later became the mother of sage Vyasa?
Yes, the very same. And that remarkable story is essential to understanding everything that follows. We shall narrate it in our next episode. Because before Satyavati became the queen of Hastinapura, before Devavrata became Bhishma, and before the Mahabharata truly began, another extraordinary event had already taken place on the waters of that very river. In our next episode, we shall learn who Satyavati really was, how sage Vyasa came to be born, and why Devavrata took one of the most astonishing vows in world literature, a vow that earned him the immortal name Bhishma. If you enjoyed today's journey, I'd be grateful if you would subscribe to the channel and share it with others who enjoyed great stories. Until next time, Namaste.